Hertha Berlin have been relegated to the second Bundesliga. This comes just years after financial investment that saw the club spend more than any other team in January 2020. Paul Dardai is back in charge as manager at Hertha BSC after a few years away. It's pretty awesome that his son Martin is also now featuring at the club. When you look at the squad, there are some individual standout players, but we have replicated results in this first season to see the club finish bottom of the Bundesliga. It's Bayern who win the league, with Dortmund, Leverkusen, and Frankfurt rounding out the top 4 spots. It looks like Hertha Bremen will be joining us in Bundesliga 2, Bochum competing in that promotion playoff final against third place team from one division lower, Arminia Bielefeld. Hamburg and Düsseldorf earning those automatic promotion spots to the Bundesliga. And it's Bielefeld who get the win against Bochum to change up how the top division of Germany looks. Freiburg picking up their first major trophy in Germany as they beat Dortmund in the DFB Pokal final. Real Madrid getting the win against Eintracht Frankfurt in the UEFA Super Cup, and Liverpool winning the Champions League final against Spurs. PSV were victorious against Milan in the Europa League final, and the Conference League title going to Nice. Luca Bacchio holds the record at Hertha BSC as the club's record arrival. He led us in goals scored, 16 from 38. He was also tied with Richter and Serdar for the most assists at the club. But we do have a retiring player, Kevin Prince Boateng, an icon of FIFA and career mode throughout the years. Will be retiring at a 68 overall. Also big news as longtime player and captain Marvin Plattenhardt departs to West Ham in this save. He will not be renewing his contract with Hertha BSC. Jovetic also leaving on a pre-contract to Braga. But I'll update you on our homegrown talent for the save. Oliver Kaiser is a 67 rated German center forward with 80 to 94 potential. With his attributes, he'll be best suited as a right winger, and over the course of the season, he did see a +9 in his rating. Hertha have a 3-star, 4-star German scout to begin with, but we're going to be rounding out this youth academy with 2 additional 5-star, 5-star scouts, one from Belgium and the other from Ukraine. A scouting network was set up in Turkey, and we managed to find Sefa Yildiz, a 70 rated center attacking mid with 86 to 94 potential. Hertha also have a fair number of players from the US over the years. Daniel Bennett might be the next big talent, a 59 rated center forward with 88 to 94 potential. But this first season, we'll see our manager rating close at a 63. Definitely some work to be done in this save. Season 2 in Bundesliga 2, I think we can expect several changes to the squad. It's a long road ahead, but if you're enjoying the content so far, drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. These updated board objectives will give us a more realistic outlook on what a Hertha Berlin career mode will look like in the future, trying to achieve instant promotion back to the Bundesliga. Somehow our transfer budget has increased over the summer, but we're going to see a massive amount of departures. Most of these talents should simply be playing above a Bundesliga 2 level. There are some players in this list that have already confirmed their departure from the club. But I decided to switch things up for this save. Having a 78 rated player in the second division of Germany just didn't seem right to me. Once again, using this randomizer wheel to determine which of Germany's top 4 clubs Kaiser will be headed, while I was rooting for Union Berlin to win the randomizer for the rivalry aspect. A player of his potential moving to Bayern isn't all that unrealistic. With all the departures we just completed, I was excited to kick off the arrivals with Jerome Boateng, who I managed to complete on a pre-contract at the end of last season. Alongside his brother, he spent a few years at Hertha's youth academy before a move in 2007 to Hamburg. He joined Manchester City in 2010 before a swift move to Bayern the following season. And this is where I think most people know him from, going on to win the Champions League with Bayern in 2013 and 2020, also picking up a World Cup with Germany in 2014. Next up is a confirmed transfer for next season. Fabian Rees joined Hertha on a pre-contract deal in January 2023 with 11 goals and 10 assists for Holstein Kiel in Bundesliga 2 this year and 8 assists the year prior. I expect him to play a big role in Hertha's push for promotion next season. It would also be nice to see him finally get a chance at the Bundesliga level. We had to spend $5 million as part of the transfer fee, slightly below Rees's $5.5 million valuation. We're also going to be moving him forward to the left winger position. Bart Ramselaar is coming off of a knee injury that left him out for the majority of the year. Part of Utrecht's youth academy, he spent a few years away at PSV, now returning back to Utrecht. As he starts to reach his upper 20s, it may be good for him to finally get a chance away from the Eredivisie. A move to Germany could be a good next step, and featuring for a Bundesliga 2 side like Hertha that have good odds for promotion, it could be a wise career move. Another $5 million transfer here as Ramselaar joins on a $20K a week contract. This deal was slightly above his valuation of 4.5 million. Niklas Kuhn is one of many German players that have recently started to move abroad and feature in leagues like that in Austria. He certainly has the track record for good youth academies, featuring for both RB Leipzig and Ajax, also spending some time with Bayern too. Still a young player, he's going to be getting plenty of minutes for us at the Bundesliga 2 level. He'll join as our new number 7 on another 5 million transfer fee. Slightly more than his valuation of 4.2 million, but this might be the highest potential signing of the summer. And just like Reese, we're going to be moving him forward to a more advanced right winger position. When I made the decision to start a Hertha career mode in Bundesliga 2, I looked forward to the opportunity to try out some new players in leagues that I don't traditionally make too many transfers from. Sivert Mannsverk is a perfect example of that. Part of Sondal's youth academy in Norway's 2nd division, he left to Molde in the summer of 2021 on a relatively high transfer fee approaching 2 million. My research saw probably clubs like Arsenal and Manchester United interested in his transfer, as well as teams like Copenhagen that historically make it to the Champions League. I think we'll see him become a big part of an exciting Norwegian national team in future years. And at a 3 million transfer fee, you can't ask for much more. We actually managed to acquire him for less than his valuation, already showing great potential. I know we already brought in one American Youth Academy player, but we're going to make another American transfer here out of the 3rd Bundesliga. Johan Gomez has 6 goals to his name with Zwickau, the brother of Jonathan Gomez, who is featuring for Real Sociedad's B team and also making his debut for Mexico last year. This is another one of those transfers where if the player can score some goals and dynamic potential can factor in, we could have a future star in this Hertha Berlin save. 2.5 million for the final transfer of the summer. A big deal for a 3rd Bundesliga side, as Gomez was evaluated around 2 million. We still have a lot of funds left over, so I'm going to replace our original scout with another 5-star scout from Germany. As the season will get underway in late July, here's a look at our new starting 11. Mannsverk immediately taking over as captain for the club. A controversial decision with him being a new arrival, but he does have the leadership traits. I still believe this makes a difference for the simulator results. And we are off to a good start as we defeat Karlsruhe in our season opener 1-0. Updates to come in January 2024. We find ourselves 2nd in the Bundesliga. Bochum 4 points ahead of us at the top spots. With this being a young squad, we can expect to see lots of changes to our player ratings, but 2 more departures to discuss. Richter is off to the Bundesliga as he joins Eintracht Frankfurt for 20 million. Ajuke should have only been here on a loan basis, but because Moscow is not in the game, we've had to transfer him away as he joins Galatasaray. We'll keep the good times going as we pick up the Manager of the Month award for February. It was an undefeated month for us, only picking up a single draw alongside those victories. But we're going to fast forward all the way to May. It's a match against Bochum, who were leading the league at the halfway mark. They still sit 1 point ahead of us. It appears that Hertha Bremen will be winning the title, but that 2nd place spot is important as it guarantees promotion. Not to mention, our job may be on the line. Board Objectives has seen our manager rating drop to 51, but I would say our future is still in our own hands. 3 points here will be the right step towards a strong end to the season. I think part of the excitement that is part of Bundesliga 2 football is that only 2 teams earn that automatic promotion, and a single team will get their opportunity to fight it out in the promotion playoff final. Bochum will get the first opportunity of this match as Asano has his effort go off the crossbar. We do manage to get that one cleared, and with just 10 minutes remaining, this is a great through ball to our striker. Nomcom's effort going off of the post as the match stays level, and this was certainly not the result I was looking for. Despite the draw against Bochum, we still finished 2nd in the table. Looking at the league results, Bochum have absolutely bottled promotion, not even getting a chance in the promotion playoff final. St. Pauli and Verl automatically relegated to the 3rd tier of German football. Holstein Kiel taking part in the other promotion playoff final. As for the Bundesliga, we see a new league winner with RB Leipzig. The top 4 are pretty much the same though. 2 of the Bundesliga's most historic teams, with Hamburg and Köln dropping down to the 2nd Bundesliga. Düsseldorf will compete against Darmstadt in the promotion playoff final. And once again, it is the 2nd Bundesliga team that ends up winning. Borussia Dortmund picking up a result in the DFB Pokal against Mainz, and Liverpool continue their winning ways as they started the season with a victory against PSV in the UEFA Super Cup. Back-to-back losses for Spurs in the Champions League final as City gets some silverware. Sevilla defeat Lyon in the Europa League, and it's Fiorentina to pick up the Conference League title against Chelsea. Nomcom with 16 goals from 34 appearances in his first season season as our starting striker. He had the second most goals in the league, only behind Oliver Burke. One of our new transfers, Kuhn, with 8 assists from 31. He was tied with Winsheimer for the third most assists in the league. Reherton Diaz, the only player to reach double digits. We'll get a loan update on our Youth Academy players. Daniel Bennett going up +7 in his rating to a 66 overall. We've got a special player with Yildiz. He also saw a +7 growth, achieving a 77 rating during a loan spell at Rayo Vallecano. I think we found an instant replacement for our homegrown talent's departure. Lenny Winter is a 70 rated German right winger. He's got 89 to 94 potential. Mihailo Maric is a 68 rated left winger from Croatia. He's got 84 to 94 potential. And finally, Renato Almeida, a 59 rated striker from Brazil, 88 to 94 potential. We finished the season with just enough of a manager rating not to get sacked, and we're back in the Bundesliga. I'm hoping that with our return back to the Bundesliga, this new look Hertha squad will fare much better. Slowly starting to add some of our Youth Academy players to the starting 11. Yildiz has potential to be special. We've also given him the number 10, just like another Bundesliga icon, Mesut Ozil. But first things first, let's improve upon this manager rating. We need to sign a crucial first-team midfielder, reach the round of 16 of the DFB Pokal, and finish mid-table in the league. All of those departures in Season 2 has left our budget at 175 million. Vitaly Janot will mark our first arrival from the Premier League. I would say that the Brentford midfielder is extremely underrated as far as what he contributes. Statistics-wise, he's got 3 goals and an assist this season, alongside 4 goals from the year prior. However, Brentford do have a lot of quality midfielders, so I think a return back to the Bundesliga wouldn't be off the cards for the former Hamburg and RB Leipzig Youth Academy player. Not a bad transfer fee at all. 12.5 million will finalize the deal. I think he had his contract coming to an end, which is why we picked him up for much less than his valuation. Brazil is one of the more common foreign nationalities at Hertha Berlin, and Joao Victor hasn't quite adjusted to European football after his move from Corinthians. He didn't feature for Benfica in the first half of this season and hasn't exactly been spectacular for Nantes. Obviously, it does take some time for a player to adjust to a new league, but I'm not going to turn down the opportunity to sign a good potential player for 20 million. He's going to be commanding the right center back position for the immediate future. One of my favorite free agents to sign in Bundesliga career modes is Max Meyer, the former career mode wonder kid who peaked at 88 potential in FIFA 16. I don't see him playing an important squad role for us, but I'll be revising his contract as soon as possible. Couple of departures to discuss. Rogel will be going to Porto on what was a 7.5 million transfer fee. Romovic transferring to Rangers on a 3 million deal. Our first match of the Bundesliga season will be against Darmstadt, and here is the new look starting 11. I'm liking our approach of slowly incorporating a couple of new players into the team each season. We'll continue our winning ways as we get the 1-0 result in our season opener. A crucial January transfer window to check on results, and we are currently mid-table. However, only 3 points clear out of potential relegation, so we'll look to improve in the second half of the season. Dortmund currently lead the league as Stuttgart are the surprise team to feature in the top 4. We have had a few setbacks though in the first half of the year, particularly at center attacking mid. It's going to be a 2-month injury for our Youth Academy player Yildiz. Our backup striker Kanga also requested a transfer away, so he is off to Feyenoord for 5 million. And as a replacement striker, I thought Kyle Larin would be a great fit. He's transferred to Parma in this save, but he has a ridiculous goal scoring record at each club that he plays for. Right now, he's on loan at Valladolid and trying to help them escape relegation on the final match day. For a team that's at the bottom of the La Liga table, 8 goals from 18 appearances is an impressive figure. It's going to be a 5 million deal to sign Larin as a backup striker. Maybe he can continue his goal scoring record in the Bundesliga. Our first pre-contract departure will be for Malida, who leaves to Royal Antwerp at the start of next season. We seem to have found some form in the second half of the year, an 11th place finish in the Bundesliga, and well clear of the relegation zone. Schalke and Darmstadt earning those automatic relegation spots, and Borussia Dortmund actually turn around their season as well, winning the league. Wolfsburg, Bayern, and Mönchengladbach rounding out the top 4. As for the second Bundesliga, Köln and Düsseldorf seeing promotion, and Hannover competing in the promotion playoff final, where they lose to Freiburg 4-2 on aggregate. Leverkusen get the win against Dortmund in the Pokal final, and City will continue the streak of Champions League winners winning the UEFA Super Cup. City also going back-to-back in the Champions League, defeating Atleti, its Villarreal, to get the win against Wolfsburg in the Europa League, and Spurs finally adding a European trophy, defeating Ferencvárosi 4-3 on penalties. Reese had a breakout season, putting up very similar statistics to what he's been doing for Holstein Holstein Kiel as of late, and it's a former Hertha player to earn the Bundesliga top goal scorer award, Matthias Cunha, now reaching an 84 overall, transferring to Borussia Dortmund. Reese also had the most assists at the club, 8 from 29, ranked him tied for the second most assists in the Bundesliga. Quite a few players to update on a loan basis. Almeida up +6 to a 65 rating during an MLS loan spell. March has gone up +6 as he spent the season in England at Fulham. Our American talent Daniel Bennett up +4 in his overall to a 70 rating. Lenny Winter, probably the best out of all our Youth Academy players, also spent some time in the Premier League, going up +7. Our first newly promoted Youth Academy player will be Vlatko Jankovic, a 67 rated left winger from Serbia. He's got 91 to 94 potential. Max Martin is a 65 rated goalkeeper from Germany, and unfortunately, because he's not eligible for promotion, I forgot to do it at the midway point of next season, so this is the only time we'll see him. Jerzy Baran, a 63 rated striker from Poland. The 16-year-old has 90 to 94 potential. Our manager rating climbing up into the green at an 83 overall. We can expect more changes here at Hertha. I think it's time to finally upgrade upon our goalkeeper. Also, adding another Youth Academy player with Winter at the right wing position. For board expectations, we need to once again add some crucial first team players, look to reach the round of 16 of the Pokal, and finally qualify for a European competition. Still over 150 million remaining in our transfer budget, and we're going to kick off the signings with a player from a relegated team. Schalke seem to be teetering between Bundesliga and Bundesliga 2. As for Jonathan Burkhardt, the Mainz man is looking to redeem himself after a season filled with injury. He had a strong 21-22 campaign, scoring 11 goals for Mainz and attracting interest from some of the top Bundesliga sides. And with our aim to qualify for European competitions, I'm hoping that Burkhardt could be a source for goals. 50 million was the finalized transfer fee, a pretty decent return for Schalke, and I think they'll use those funds wisely. When it comes to upgrading at goalkeeper, I'm mostly looking at players that either play a rotational role to start off career mode with, or maybe from outside the top 5 leagues like Justin Bijlo. There's no doubt about his quality at Feyenoord. The main concern for him though is that he is injury prone, having missed matches practically every season and not even starting for the Netherlands at the most recent World Cup. The fact that we have Christensen as a quality backup option made this transfer possible at 25 million. It was slightly above his valuation at Feyenoord. In recent years, Hertha have made a significant amount of transfers from Ligue 1, not yet having an opportunity to sign Leslie Ugochukwu in a save. The Rennes player has had some ties to the Bundesliga, particularly Borussia Dortmund. He's known to be a defensive midfielder, but is capable of moving the ball forward, a trait that not many players have, which made him stand out to me. It was only a 20 million transfer to finalize the deal from Austria Wien. Looks like he had his contract running out as we picked him up for under his valuation, showing great potential. As far as transfer offers from big clubs for our players, there is some interest in Dardoy, but with him being the coach's son, we're going to keep him here at Hertha. Eichberger will be leaving to Swansea City on a 1.5 million transfer fee. Maza going to Tyrol on a 1 million transfer. And finally, Clemens joining Konyaspor on a 1 million transfer. A tough start to our Bundesliga season up against Bayern, but I think the changes we've made to the team will certainly improve our chances of qualifying for European competitions. We put in a pretty good outing against Bayern. Ugochukwu scoring in his debut, but it was a 89th minute goal from Sabitzer that gave Bayern the win. Heading into the January transfer window, we have picked up the Manager of the Month award for December, just drawing the single match against Leipzig and winning the rest of our fixtures. Keen to check on results in January 2026. We are in a Champions League spot as things stand. That would be the dream competition to qualify for, and certainly above our expectations at the start of the season. Winter has now by and far surpassed Kuhn as the best rated right winger in this team, and he's got potential to be special, so I think that rating is only going to get higher. The one downside to our season so far is that Namkham is unhappy with his playtime, so he submitted a transfer request away. We received a fairly realistic offer from Benfica, who have made a couple of German signings in recent years and even have a German coach with Roger Schmidt. So we'll finalize this deal at a 13 million fee. Schwolo, now our third choice goalkeeper, is headed to Nottingham Forest at the end of this season on a free transfer. That means Kyle Larin will return as our backup striker at the club, and we continue receiving these mid-season updates. Now a Chelsea manager position offer at the start of March, and we've only gone and improved upon our league standing, now third place. There have been a lot of coaching changes at Chelsea as of late, so I found it pretty amusing that career mode went through with this offer. They do have a pretty decent team, to be fair, making a lot of incoming transfers transfers and adding high potential players along the way. In terms of league results, they sit 6th in the Premier League and are once again in the Europa Conference League, matching up against Hauk in the round of 16. But our focus will stay on Hertha as we close out the season with a fixture against Eintracht Frankfurt. It's an important one. All we need is a draw to guarantee Champions League football next season. However, there is a slight possibility that if results go our way, we could win the league title. Frankfurt, on the other hand, looking to finish in the top half of the Bundesliga standings, and to be fair, they have a very strong team as well. Perhaps this is the season that establishes Dardai as a top manager, and it's going to be some great trickery from Winter to cross the ball over to Reese. He volleys the effort home to give us the opener just 15 minutes in. One of our earliest signings in this Hertha save to give us the lead. We'll try to showcase some good defensive outings now, as it's a slide tackle from a Frankfurt player that brings Yildiz to the ground, and with previous injury history, I was definitely concerned about his future. Fortunately, he will be able to play on. Scoreline updates were most concerned with that Borussia Dortmund and Werder Bremen fixture, along with RB Leipzig and Düsseldorf. However, the Bundesliga title is fully influenced by Bayern's result. If they win, then they will be champions. Just 15 minutes left to go, and Burkhardt showcasing why we spent 50 million on his transfer, finding Jano, who plays the ball to Winter, and our newest youth academy player to break into the first team, scores a goal to double our lead, and in a resounding fashion, it will be Champions League football here at Hertha Berlin in Season 5. It was always going to be a reach for us to finish top of the Bundesliga, but we will climb up one spot to third. Bayern do indeed win the title, with Leipzig in second and Dortmund in fourth. As for the relegation zone, Düsseldorf and Köln will see the drop to the second Bundesliga. Arminia Bielefeld will compete against Darmstadt to determine who will be in the Bundesliga next year. Schalke and Bochum earning those automatic promotion spots. It is Bielefeld who will keep their place in Germany's top flight next season. Bayern defeat our rivals Union Berlin in the DFB Pokal final. Manchester City continue to stack trophies as they get the win against Villarreal in the UEFA Super Cup. They go back to back to back in the Champions League, defeating Milan 2-1. Leverkusen get the win against Club Brugge in the Europa League final, and it's West Ham to defeat Feyenoord in the Conference League. Considering he only played in 35 games, 25 goals is massive from Burkhardt. It ranked him as the best goal scorer in the Bundesliga, 7 goals clear of the next best player. He also led the way in assists, so it seems like we finally have a clinical goal scorer for statistics. Also leading the league in this category, one ahead of Kone from Mönchengladbach. Loan updates coming through for some youth academy players. Baron going up +5 in his rating during a season-long loan spell. Almeida also going up +5 to a 70 overall. Jankovic seeing the most growth out of all of our youth academy players, +10 in his rating to a 77. And Daniel Bennett unfortunately doesn't seem to be living up to his potential, only going up +3 to a 73 overall. Our manager rating, on the other hand, staying fairly steady. We're in the green, and more importantly, in Champions League next year. This season will mark Hertha's return to the Champions League since the turn of the century. It's also going to mean a new captain as we look to upgrade from Manswerk at center defensive mid. For board expectations, they're very similar to previous years, but for domestic success, we need to replicate performances in the Bundesliga, finish top 4, and in the Champions League, try to reach the quarterfinal. Transfer budget, again, similar to previous years. And we are starting to receive some big offers. Assuming Jurgen Klopp is still in charge at Liverpool, this wouldn't be an unrealistic move, but I want to have a few more seasons with Burkhardt at striker for us. He did just help contribute to Germany's victory in the 2026 World Cup, along with our former player and homegrown talent Oliver Kaiser. Christensen will be looking to move away, though, probably to play a backup role for Ajax as he leaves for 10 million. Ramselaar heading to the Premier League, joining up with Bournemouth for 7.5 million. And Gomez never quite reached the potential I was hoping for, so he's heading to the Eredivisie, signing with PSV for 5 million. Ferdi Kadioglu is one of those players in career mode that can practically play at any position. Attributes-wise, he's best rated as a right midfielder, but I plan to use him as a right back in our squad. The Dutch-born player has now featured 9 times for Turkey, and many expect him to make a big move over the summer. He's been consistently part of Fenerbahce's squad since the 2019-20 season. Looking at players that follow a similar trajectory, I expect big things for him. We ended up having to pay his release clause nearly 50 million to finalize the deal, but I think he will be worth it, as we have been lacking in overall at right back. Our next signing is one of the newest high potential players to hit the career mode scene, with Arthur Vermeuren, the 2005 born midfielder, has been a big part of a surprise Antwerp team that is challenging to win the Belgian Pro League. Technically strong and versatile enough to play as any form of center midfielder, he has a massive amount of potential, and I'm really curious to see where he might end up within the next few seasons. It's going to be another 50 million transfer to finalize this deal. Fair play to Antwerp for realizing how much potential Vermeeren has. With Christensen's departure, we obviously need to sign a good backup goalkeeper, and we will once again sign a Danish shot stopper with Mads Hermansen. As Kasper Schmeichel starts to get older, many argue that Hermansen could become Denmark's best option at GK, with many clubs from the top 5 leagues looking to sign him as a developing talent to become their new #1 in future seasons. A big move for Brøndby as we sign Hermansen for 20 million, and since we have new competitions for this season, I think he'll get plenty of minutes. But we will of course start our season in the Bundesliga up against Mönchengladbach. Just the 2 changes to our first team starting 11 with the additions of Kadioglu and Vermeeren, but Dardai takes over as our new captain, one of the few original Hertha players left. We'll see if he can lift our first trophy in this save. It's a 0-0 draw to begin our season, but a lot of focus will go on our Champions League group. We've got a very difficult draw with Liverpool, Sporting, and Feyenoord. Nicolas Sula making the move to Anfield at an 87 overall for Liverpool. Edson Alvarez transferring to Liga Portuguesa, and Sporting at an 84 overall, and another 84 overall player with Luka Sucic. He features for Feyenoord at center attacking mid. Lots of competitions to review in January 2027. We've dropped off a little bit in the Bundesliga, but definitely still competing for a top 4 spot, and arguably the title as well. But we've done well to advance out of our Champions League group. I thought it would be a lot more of a close contest, but us and Liverpool were by far the top performers. I don't have any concerns to speak about in our starting 11, so we can move forward to the round of 16 of the Champions League against Real Madrid. Christopher Nkunku will be joining Chelsea in the upcoming season, but now he's moved to Real Madrid and features for them at an 89 overall. Madrid were always going to be a tough opponent as they win the first leg 3-1, and we see the same scoreline in the second leg, so an early exit from the Champions League, but still something to play for to close out our season. It's the Pokal final against Freiburg, who, if I'm not mistaken, have won the competition once so far in this save. Really not too much pressure on us, as we've already guaranteed Champions League football for next season. Freiburg, on the other hand, could find themselves in the Europa League. It is Schalke and Bochum that see automatic relegation to Bundesliga 2, speaking of which, Köln and Darmstadt earning promotion, and St. Pauli defeat Augsburg in the relegation playoffs to also earn promotion to the Bundesliga. It has been an incredible run for Manchester City, starting the season off with a UEFA Super Cup victory, but Real Madrid finally break City's streak and win the Champions League against Leipzig 2-1. Same scoreline in the Europa League as Atleti will be lifting a title there, and Juventus defeat Sturm Graz in the Conference League final. We are by far the favorites for this one, but you never know what could happen in a cup final. I would say that Freiburg thrive on being the underdogs, so they find themselves in a favorable position for this DFB Pokal final, and it is Freiburg that open up the highlights. A good effort on the near post will beat Bilo, and Özkan opening up the scoring just 30 minutes in. Few moments later, we will get a chance of our own, some fantastic build-up play, showcasing a lot of skill. Eventually, the ball falls to Burkhardt in the middle, no doubt about it, as he finds the leveler. Just 5 minutes remaining in this one, and it's a controversial call as Winter is taken down for a penalty and a yellow card issued to Araujo, but it is a penalty kick saved from Burkhardt. Benitez, he was a ridiculous shot stopper in this one, and he's going to get his chance again on penalties. I always favor my chances against the computer on penalty kicks, but now that the computer is determining our fates, who knows what might happen. We do go on to miss our first 2 pens, so not an ideal start, but we're hanging in there and trying to keep ourselves in this match. Chance for Brekalo to win it, but it's saved from Bilo. And now, Kadioglu, one of our new signings, will convert his chance. Ironically, Freiburg also have a player named Burkhardt, and he will convert this pen to give Freiburg European football for next season. Would have loved to have lifted a trophy to close out this year, but I've got to give credit where it's due. All in all, I'm not too disappointed with our performances. We do still have Champions League football to look forward to next year, and Burkhardt continues his goal-scoring ways, 19 from 47. It was always going to be tough for him to match last season's performance, still ranking as the 12th best goal scorer in the Bundesliga. One of our Youth Academy players, March, has seen a big increase in his rating and led the club in assists, 9 from 43. He broke into the top 10 in this category, with Jamal Musiala leading the way for Bayern. Still some loan updates to talk about. Baron going up +4 in his rating to a 72. Almeida spent half a year over in Portugal, where he saw a +5 growth with Porto. Jankovic saw a +4 in his overall, spending the season on loan at Roma. And I haven't given up on Daniel Bennett yet, going up +4 during a Bundesliga loan to Hoffenheim. Despite the drop in our manager rating, I'm not too concerned, and I have a positive outlook for season 6. The more experience we get in the Champions League, the better we're going to fare, and our squad is even improved for this season. However, the board is starting to run out of patience. We need to win the Pokal, win the Bundesliga, and reach the final of the Champions League. Our transfer budget has increased just shy of the 200 million mark, and our single signing of the summer will be the return of Matheus Cunha. While his time at Hertha was brief, he certainly left his mark, arriving in the January of 2020 and leaving in the summer of 2021. He's continued to impress, signing with Atleti and even scoring a couple of goals on loan in the Premier League at Wolves this season. I see him featuring practically anywhere in the attacking front for us as he arrives on a 50 million transfer. We're going to be patient about starting him right away. He needs to earn his spot first. Hopefully we can win a couple of these fixtures to kick off the month of August, but here is the squad. I think we've got the quality to start competing in the Bundesliga and the Champions League, and we start the season as anticipated, a 1-0 result away from home. This year's Champions League group is significantly easier in my opinion. Milan, Salzburg, and Rangers. Kjærgaard is probably my favorite signing at Milan. The 84 rated Danish talent features for them in the midfield. Salzburg have a history of high potential players, but I found Yusuf Poulsen's move from RB Leipzig to RB Salzburg very interesting. For whatever reason, I see Giannis Hadji someday transferring to the Bundesliga. He is one of the top talents at Rangers. Will we finally take the next step in the Bundesliga and the Champions League? So far, things are going according to plan in the league, as we are just 1 point shy of RB Leipzig for the top spot in the Bundesliga. The Champions League also going to plan for us. Can't say the same for the likes of Milan, who will drop down to the Europa League, finishing 3rd. Our squad continues to improve, and despite the red card, Winter is still a standout player at a 90 rating. We can expect tough competition in the Champions League, starting off against Manchester United. Timo Werner returning back to the Premier League and now featuring at Old Trafford. It was a 2-2 draw in the opening fixture. However, we get the better of Manchester United in the second leg, advancing 3-2 on aggregate up against Juventus in the quarterfinals. We'll match up against another former Hertha player with Matteo Guendouzi. He's at an 85 rating and pretty much reaching his peak potential. A 2-1 win in our opening fixture, and it is Cunha to give us the go-ahead goal. Pretty tense affair in the second leg, but we advance 4-3 on aggregate, where we'll play Manchester City in the semifinals. I've been showcasing a lot of Bundesliga transfers as Soboslai moves from RB Leipzig to City, and it was a high-scoring fixture, 3-3 in the opening leg. Wasn't the same case in the second leg, as we just narrowly won the match 1-0. Regardless, we're into the Champions League final, where we'll rematch against Real Madrid. Some key moments in the build-up to that Champions League final. All we need is a draw, and we will mathematically secure the Bundesliga title, and it is a draw that we get. 2-2 away from home means that we'll celebrate the following match day. It took 6 seasons for us to lift our first trophy of this save, but it's a perfect time to do it as far as confidence goes. With this being the final match of the season, we'll review all competitions. We end up 6 points clear of Leipzig for the Bundesliga title. Stuttgart and Darmstadt will see relegation to the second Bundesliga. It's going to be Düsseldorf and Augsburg that earn automatic promotion, and for the promotion playoff final, Schalke will once again return to Germany's top flight. RB Leipzig defeating Leverkusen in the Pokal final on penalties, and it's Real Madrid who win the UEFA Super Cup to start the season. Roma will defeat Newcastle in the Europa League final, and Sassuolo getting the win against AZ in the Conference League final. Another great season for goal scoring from Burkhardt, 28 goals from 48 appearances. But I'm going to share this really cool moment as Gift Orban, who is seemingly bursting onto the scene for Ghent this season. I found his transfer to Union Berlin to be fairly realistic, where he's now at an 81 overall and probably still on the rise. Yildiz will lead the club in the assist category, and he also will rank in the top 6 for assists in the Bundesliga. We should be familiar with this Madrid squad. Can we get our revenge from last season? We've pretty much seen it all with Hertha. We've been the favorites in cup finals. We've also been the underdogs throughout this entire save. We just need one more victory to close out this career mode with a Champions League trophy. And it's a great bit of play to start things off. Our Youth Academy players linking up as Yildiz will find the opener 19 minutes in, and we have the advantage over Real Madrid. I found it ironic that despite our homegrown talent leaving very early in this save, this is arguably the best batch of youth academy talents I've ever had in a career mode save this year. They definitely played a key role in this Champions League final, as Yildiz's goal was the only one scored. And in a span of a month, we'll be lifting our second trophy. A great moment for our captain Dardai as well as our manager.